Well, good evening. This is Thursday night and it's Map Show time, Map Show number 112, and I'm excited to be with you this evening. Please share your comments, your insights, questions that you may have. It'll be wonderful to engage with you. And tonight we're going to be talking about the 4 pillars of Map for Life. And we've been following the Mapped series. This is especially for those of you who are excited about being part of the Map for Life movement on a global scale and looking forward to sharing these with you. So often there are people out there that are completely consumed by the world system. They want to propagate that world system. And I want to talk to you tonight about something new, a different approach. It's time for things to be done differently. And I trust that what I share with you will give you some engagement or some understanding in terms of being part of Map for Life. There are many people out there that are thinking that they're building the Map for Life Institute. If you're investing in Map for Life as an organization, you're missing what Map for Life is all about. We are there to engage in the world. And if you are passionate about that, I encourage you to engage in that process as well. Your candle needs to light the world, not to make a bonfire at Map for Life, but to rather get out there and light the world. And I want to share some exciting things with you, and 4 pillars which I believe are absolutely essential or maybe fundamental to Map for Life as a movement. And the first part of that is why the Map for Life book exists. Back in 1999, I put together something which I today refer to as a methodology. And I remember so clearly receiving the foreword for the book. And that foreword was called, or rather written by Dr. Miles Monroe. And when he wrote that particular book, or rather the foreword for the book, he declared inside that foreword that this was a tried and proven methodology. And I thought to myself, how can you say that? I've only just put it together. We haven't even sent it out into the world yet, and you're already saying it's tried and proven. But you know, now that we're 24 years down the road, we can say to you, and I can say to you with absolute confidence, that he was right. This methodology has stood the test of time. It's been around since the beginning of time. And that is that if you want to move somewhere, if you want to do something, you need to understand where you are and, more importantly, where you're going. You know what the destination is. And once you know those 2 points, simply to put together a plan, plot a journey, choose a course. Any course will do. Just join those 2 dots. You don't have to follow what the other person has done before you. Just simply join the dots. There are many ways to join the start and the end of a journey. The sad thing is most people don't know what their end is, and they keep going around in circles. It's time for us to have a destination. Directionless existence is something of the past for you. If you're a mapper, you know where you're going. You have clarity of vision. This is an important aspect. So the Map for Life methodology simply says, where am I? Where am I going? How am I going to get there? And then the most critical thing is we begin to take action. We step in faith. We take meaningful action, action that moves us from where we are to where we want to be. This is an important pillar of Map for Life. And if you use our tool, if you attend any of our map cafes, you should be familiar with this methodology. If you're not engaging in the methodology or talking about the methodology anymore, then you're not part of a map cafe. You could call it something different. But in Map for Life, this is a pillar. Where are you? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? And then taking action. The second pillar of the MAP4LIFE Institute is our approach. And our approach is very, very structured. I've talked about our methodology being structured, yet flexible. In other words, it is a process that one follows, yet it is adaptable to any application. And I will talk more about the mapped aspect of our methodology in another session. But tonight, I want to just touch on these 4 pillars and the approach. Or some people might talk about strategy, has 4 elements to it. The one is more of a what I've called in the past Team 13. And again, here there's a mapped approach as well. Okay, so we're simplifying things all down to this mapped series. And I'll be talking a bit more, or rather more specific about our approach in one of our future sessions. But essentially, the approach is to simplify the way in which we're going to achieve or to fulfill our mandate. And the mandate is very clear. The mandate is map the world. And that mandate, or other words that people might use, is commission. Another word that you might use is perhaps in the workplace, you would use the concept of a job description. We're not using that over here. We would talk about a letter of deployment as opposed to a letter of employment. So there is different terminology, but the approach is just the way you go about doing something. It's like the recipe. When you bake a cake, there's a certain process that you go, and if you follow that process, it works out every time. You have that wonderful cake that is edible at the end of the process. And so the approach is very important, and it's important that we as mappers understand that approach so that we can work together in a way that each individual is part of a greater body. In MAP4LIFE, I'm talking strongly these days about the idea of an organism as opposed to an organization. There are old thinkers out there that think about the organization. They're fixated on structure, organograms, who does what. In MAP4LIFE, every single person is a seed. Within that seed is a DNA. Our approach is part of that DNA. It's about understanding that DNA. And if you understand the DNA, then you are able to establish and multiply MAP4LIFE wherever you are, and the impact. And of course, our mission is to make life purposeful. So if you are excited about MAP4LIFE, if you can see the need to make life purposeful and you want to participate in it, the approach becomes important. It makes it easy for you to begin to do or to expand or to establish MAP4LIFE in your world, in the community that you live in, the country that you are, or the continent that you live on. And the approach has a concept of a team. It also has the idea of what is the word that I use for this? There's a targeted structure which makes it easy for you to set yourself clear goals so that you can grow with MAP4LIFE. For example, if a tree or a seed germinates, its needs or what it does or its requirement for resources is very small when it is still just germinating, a seedling. The requirements for that seedling grow to the point where it becomes a sapling and finally a tree, and ultimately that tree begins to bear fruit. And during its journey, all of that time, it needs carbon, and it gets that carbon from the carbon dioxide around it. It doesn't matter at what stage it's at, it needs carbon. It just needs more of it as it grows into its fullness over time. So there's the structure, there's the targets that we have. There's also the concept of the 1-2-5 principle. I think if we look at the world system, which is money, it's very clearly based on certain denominations, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and so it goes on. And we incorporate that in our approach. And then there's a fourth aspect of the approach, and that is the rhythm, the drumbeat. And this is where you are able to, as an organization, or rather an organism of individuals, a body of individuals, each different, unique, one of a kind, are able to come together from time to time to converge so that we can share ideas, learn from one another, and then go back out there and continue mapping our world and ultimately mapping the world. So our approach is an important pillar in the Map for Life methodology. Thirdly, we talk about a philosophy. Recently, those of you who watch our shows regularly would have seen Rian participating last night all the way from Leidenburg in the eastern side of South Africa, in the province where the sun rises, okay, that side of South Africa. And he suggested that maybe the P should stand for paradigm. And I agree, because P and paradigm sound like they belong together, but P and philosophy sound like they don't belong. But in essence, it's the I spoke about this in one of our earlier sessions, where I talked about the philosophy being that we believe that you are mandated for such a time as this, that you've been anointed with special gifts and talents, that you have been fully provided for, and that you have been deployed for such a time as this. And that's the foundation of our philosophy. It also requires you to shift into a new paradigm, to think differently about doing things. And one of the examples I used is shifting from organization, which is all about the head, to organism, which is all about the heart. And I just hope that everybody is able to understand that and slowly begin to comprehend and see the light of this idea. And then finally, the fourth pillar of the Map for Life Institute talks about our domain. In the world system today, they're always asking you, what is your market? I've been asked that question so many times, it's almost nauseating. You know, what is your market? What is your target market? Who are you focused on? And you know, that kind of approach is very limiting. It kind of says that what we are doing, this fundamental philosophy that is that guy, or rather the methodology that we are teaching people, is something that results in the existence of everything. There's nothing that exists today that has been manifest, no idea, no dream that has come to pass that has not been through that process of starting somewhere, ending up somewhere, and have followed a written, documented plan that was acted upon. So if that is something that's fundamental, it's not for a particular group of people, it's for everyone. So our domain is simply every tribe, every tongue, every people, every nation. So if you fit into that category, you're part of our domain. So we want to encourage you. If you want to focus on one aspect of that domain, maybe it's a particular kind of language or a particular dialect or a particular family of languages, then that's fine. You can do so because it's within the overall demographic. If you want to focus on a particular tribe, let's say a group of engineers, accountants, lawyers, pensioners, retirees, I don't know what your focus is. Maybe it's children, maybe it's grandchildren, maybe it's young adults, maybe it's young professionals. That fits within that category. If you have a particular people group, maybe it's a group of people that look like you. Maybe it's a group of people that doesn't look like you. I'm not sure. But if you have a particular people group that you have a passion for, that you want to work with, that you want to influence, that you want to engage with, that you love, that you enjoy, you like their food. I don't know what it is about that people group that you might be passionate about. But if there's a people group that you're passionate about, that falls within our domain. If there's a nation, whether that nation constitutes a country or whether it's a nation within a country, then that nation that you have a passion for, that nation that you feel needs to be reached in some way, if that nation needs to be become purposeful, maybe it's leaders of nations, I don't know, maybe it's political leaders, whatever it might be, it fits within our domain. And so I want to encourage you, whoever you are, wherever you are unique in so many ways that I can just imagine that you have a unique element within our domain that you desire to impact. Maybe it's women, maybe it's men. I certainly don't think that it's part of the people that don't know whether they're a woman or man. Because in Map for Life, we believe that people were created male and female. That's it. And if you disagree with that, remember that South Africa is the rainbow nation. Don't steal our rainbow from us. You know, there's so many people out there that have taken the promise that is given to man that they would never be destroyed for the activities that people are trying to promote today. And the sign that was given was the rainbow. Now, there's people out there that want to corrupt that sign and use it to mean the very thing that the rainbow came to say will not happen again. And so from a Map for Life perspective, I just want to be very clear to you. We believe that we were created male and female, and South Africa is the rainbow nation. We are the group of the gathering of all the peoples of the world. But here we are clear that they are male and female. So if you want to behave differently as a male or female, that's your decision, that's your choice to make. Don't impose that on me or any of our members. I'm just excited about the 4 pillars of Map for Life. And I trust that as we continue this journey of the MAP series, that you're going to get a much deeper understanding of what Map for Life is all about. And this concept of having the 4 pillars, a methodology, the approach, the philosophy, and the domain really creates a solid I was going to say foundation, but we'll talk about the foundation on another occasion. But it creates the solid pillars on which the roof, the institute is going to be established. And I trust that as we continue this journey, that there are people that are listening in to us that say, you know something, I want to be part of Map for Life. I want to be part of this, not only be part of it, I want to take it further and influence the people that I have a passion for. Because everyone, without question, has a purpose, and that purpose ignites ideas, dreams that you connect with. And then the question comes, but how do I implement my dream or idea? For you to stop asking the how question and rather focusing on the why question, you need to become part of Map for Life, because we're about focusing on the why, we're about focusing on purpose, and at the same time, we provide the tools for you to make that journey possible. And I'm excited to have you part of this, and especially enjoy Delmarie from Pretoria joining in this evening and sharing your comments. Great to have you join with us. I like the word progressive that you used over there this evening, Delmarie. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been wonderful sharing with you, and I trust for those of you who are listening to this talk and the recording afterwards will have a better appreciation of what Map for Life is about. And I trust that it's going to invigorate within you. It's going to connect with you and going to say, yes, we are here for such a time as this, so that we can make a positive impact in the world around us. Let's make life purposeful together. I certainly believe we can. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful evening further. See you every Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Good night.